our broadcast is live. I guess so.
I guess
So
too.
let's wait. Okay, we'll start. So hello and namaste everyone. I'm Pujan Magar, a cybersecurity researcher and a computer networking and IT security scholar. I hope everyone is doing great, even though our life has become more challenging due to this pandemic. Now, I would like to talk about our group and this event in a brief. Talk Series with Friends is a group of enthusiasts of different field interests and professional backgrounds. We organize events for sharing our ideas, experience, and to create a bridge for the youths wanting their ideas and voice to be heard. Today, we have a great topic for this event. And guess what? The topic is true personalized news at the age of AI and fake news. So I'll repeat it again: true personalized news at the age of AI and fake news. I would like to start our talk with a short but meaningful quote by Albert Einstein. And it goes like this: information is not knowledge. So, what exactly is it? Do we have to filter it out to have a clear understanding and grasp the knowledge? We'll soon figure it out. And for that, we have our special guest from Sweden, Miss Theresa, an entrepreneur and CEO of Ansofy AB. Let's welcome her in this episode of Talk Series with Friends. Hello, Theresa.
Hello, Pujan. Nice to meet you here. Thank you
Welcome. Nice to meet you too. Welcome to our Talk Series. It's great to have you as our guest today. I'm excited to start our talk with you. Shall we start?
Yes.
So, okay, I heard about Ansafy and read some blogs about it. It was really interesting and informative. But for those special people currently hearing and watching us, could you please tell us about Ansafy in brief?
Very short. We are we are developing a news app. It's more a news broker. We want to give you the best news we can, and we want to set our readers, in the center and empower them to take control over the news feed, the sources they want to read, the categories, and develop tools to give them a possibility to make fact checks and if this is fake news or not. So all for the readers. And this is why we are unique and different from the other news apps, which are just collecting apps and taking some free news like Google and give it to you. So in that case, we want to give the power which kind of news you want to have back to you without tracking you and without taking all the information from you.
Wow, that's great. Theresa, how the idea of Ansafy came to your mind? What was that triggered in your mind for taking this great initiative?
Yes, I'm an environment consultant. My heart is for the world. I am in the remediation of polluted sites, and I work for authorities and consulting companies. And for that, I needed to get information. So I wanted to read an article, but the article was locked. And I tried really to buy a print, to buy something. I called to the editor, to the chief editor, but it wasn't possible. I need to subscribe, and I thought, should I subscribe if I want to read 20 news? Do I need to subscribe to 20 newspapers? And he says, yes, you need to do that. Here in Sweden, most of the news are locked and behind. And then when I get aware of this and thought, but how do people get news? We have the public service, is great. We have some tabloids with free news, and we have of course the alternative media and the fake news, and often from the political right side, these news are all free. So how do people who can't afford good news get their information. And this is, I thought, it needs to be a better way for that. It could not be, it's not good at that moment how it is. I am a doer, so when I wake up in the morning, I have had the idea for Ansofy, and I just put it down and then search around the world. Is this something? Is that something like this? And it wasn't. And this was the start. I went to design and say make some notes for my idea, and with that I went to Uppsala Innovation Center and went to boot camp, and then I came on a coach business start, and after that I founded my business. So it was just tongue or I made it the first half year at the side of, but then in a full-time job. Yes. So it's my passion. It's what I want to do. I think the world needs it, and it will change the world to a better way. And all this under data privacy, because it's incredible which trace you leave, and everyone is just taking it. So it's
Yeah. So you've talked about user privacy issues, online tracking. Yeah, they are an extremely important topic. So I would like to add some points from my side too, as a cybersecurity researcher and as a normal user, internet user. What I have observed is that most of the websites and online platforms, they are using trackers, unnecessary advertisements, and some of them provide news feeds and other online content irrelevant to the users. Let me take myself as an example. While surfing the internet, I open a website xyz.com, for example, or an application XYZ. Then I search for some online content, watch them or read them. Next time when I log into that website or open that app, I see lots of ads and contents related to which I had previously watched. In essence, contents from the same category are shown to me. In one sense, it seems necessary to provide ads and related contents for revenue purpose, but user privacy is also important. No one wants to be tracked. No one wants the data to be sold online to other third parties. Um, till now, we have gained some ideas about Ansafy, but how did that name came to be Ansafy? Theresa.
yes, it's important when you do a startup. You need to have a good name. It needs to be easy to spell, easy to talk, and you need it. It doesn't, in the best way, it doesn't mean nothing, like TikTok, like Huawei. So, and I have two daughters, grown-up daughters, beautiful people, and they supported me so much. So I take the first two letters of their names, Anna and Sophia. So it becomes Ann, so, and thereafter we take the tail from Spotify, because this shows our ambition. We will be an international, very big company. So this becomes Ansofy. And here is the good thing: if you have a word company name with the letter A, you come automatically highest up in Google search. So when you choose a name for company, be very wise and have a good look.
So I guess the name was and the name is very, very lovely, and I respect what you did, your smartness. The Google algorithm or any other algorithm that indexes, in my understanding, it indexes according to the alphabet. So if the name starts from the A, letter A, then definitely from the perspective of technology too, it will be at the top. So I love that idea. Yeah. And Theresa, I respect what you've visioned about. Besides tracking and user privacy, there's also an important aspect and an issue which most of us are facing at the age of artificial intelligence. I'm talking about fake news. I read that Ansofy was also created to provide a more reliable and trusted news platform. We know fake information itself is a major domain to research and understand. It's so vast, but our small effort can make a drastic change in our society. Teresa, could you please let us know how Ansofy works in a general sense for controlling the widespread of fake news and misinformation from its side? Simply.
Yes, you say simply, but it's very difficult and technical.
Yeah,
Because
just for the general audience.
yeah, for the fake news can come in such a many shapes. You know, it could be the truth, but you choose other words, negative words. It could be the truth, but you're not telling everything. Just a little detail is out. It could be the truth, you just change a little detail. So, how can we define fake news or deep fake with the videos? A lot of people are taking news from videos. In that case, Ansofy has not developed their own AI in that direction because it takes a lot of time. It will come in the future. So we have co-working with two guys from Iraq, and they have developed an AI which takes uh, from one subject, if three or more newspapers writing about the same subject in the world, the AI is awakening, collect these news articles and make short summaries of them. But take away the opinion, take away the personal touch, take away the emotions, the value loaded words, just the facts. And from all these facts, put together in a new article in a neutral way. So we can say these are short, fact based, unbiased summaries of multiple sources. And this is also virtually. And they are just at that moment in. This is also a beta form, so now they are working with a big update before Christmas, and after that we will have them back on Ansafy. We also do co-working with the University of Skövde here in Sweden, which wants to develop a browser to give the people tool how to detect fake news, and they talk to me. We want to try this on your platform. So yes, this is not what we have at that moment, but it's in the pipeline and comes in the near future. And this
It
is
seems like it seems like there is a tremendous possibility for disrupting and controlling the fake news from our side too. And Teresa, Ansofy being one of those digital platforms aimed to provide trusted news in a more personalized way, there might be challenges which you faced, economic challenges, legal challenges, and so on. Would you like to share
yeah,
your experience related to this startup?
yeah. This is the legal side is very strong. This is the difference between Spotify and me. When Spotify started, they started with pirate copy. I can't do that. The copy law is very strong all over the world, more than 169 countries writing under that. Which means that I only can show a little part, and either I can take the text and make the text in my own style. This is okay, but I can't citate and I can't copy. So for that one, we have to be very careful, and Apple is very strong in that and looking that you have contracts, that you have all the legal side in order. So one example is, which I didn't know in the beginning, and it takes time to discover that, and I'm very happy to Google that to Apple that they talked to us. This was we use an embedded browser to be fast. And for the embedded browser to use that, the legal says everything you do that has to be a decision of the reader. So we wanted to offer the reader a fast flow in the beginning. So you just download the app and have the flow. And Apple says, oh, no, you may not do that. This is not legal. You need a contract with the newspapers. And I haven't had that because we take the free flyers, the free digital flyers, the newspaper themselves putting out on the internet. So in that case, we have to rebuild that. And this Apple is wonderful with a good contact, and you really can learn. So this is my experience. And the other part of the question was, Pujan?
The economic challenges.
The economic challenges, yes, of course. Here in Sweden, you say you have an idea. To come from the idea to start a business, 9 of the ideas are disappearing, only 1 survives. And then from starting the business to get a product, a minimal viable product. This is very important. If you want to build a Ferrari, don't start with building a Ferrari. Just take a platform of 4 wheels and test a minimal viable product. And for that way, there's so many ideas, so many things disappearing, and at the end you need to do the big decision. You have a slow development because you're working at the same time, and in your free time you do your company. So you have the company in your own control, in the cost of speed. Or do you think the world is speeding up? The technical development is so fast. You have to be fast on the edge on. You put in all in. Then perhaps you need extra money if you're not a rich person, or if in your group are not rich persons. So investors. The first step is very, very hard to find seed investors, which means they need to believe in you and your product before you even have developed a prototype. And as a woman, or if you are a stranger and have a different background as the country, it's always a little bit harder. So, the economics. And when you choose your investors, be wise, because really do check-ups. So you get the right person in, the right person who supports you and the business. Often when you have a very good business idea, it can happen that the investors are so excited about that idea that they want to take over. And this happens a lot. So the founders at the end steps aside and says, "Oh, take it." But yeah, it's a tough way. They call it the Death Valley just now, where we are with the prototype and with the first investors. But I see the end of it. And for Ansofy, it's so great that to have friends, my friends on Facebook and in my surrounding, they founded a holding company, and they will invest in Ansofy. And there's a lot of people I didn't thought that I asked on Facebook. I thought I should get 5-10 answers, and I get 60 plus. So it was, and they say, "We believe in you, Theresa, go." And you need this support, and this is lifting all Ansofy. So Ansofy is not only a one-person product. It's a belief in a better world.
Yeah. We can learn a lot from you, Theresa. Along with the challenges and threats, you've come to this point with a vision to share this whole world about the significance of trusted and real information.
Yeah.
It's amazing to talk with people like you. And Theresa, as far as you've come, are there any competitors of Ansofy, or let's say similar platforms with the same vision for the disruption of fake news and all?
I think we have Apple. Apple is very strong coming with the data privacy. They started 2018 and 2019 in the end in December with their Apple News. And 2019 in the end of the year, they also stated that they want to develop the new iPhone, which makes it impossible of tracking and setting cookies. And I'm very happy to hear that, but it sends shiver through all global the media companies, because Apple in the future won't allow Google or Facebook to have this tracking. And personally for myself, when we created Ansafy and come up with the first prototype on the market, Apple asked 3 times. I can show you. They asked back 3 times. You don't set cookies, and we don't set cookies. You don't set tracking. No, we don't do that. So they couldn't believe us. But this is what Ansafy do. We need to have statistics and to need how many of our readers read that, how many of our readers like that. We need this background information, but we depersonalize everything coming in the attack. And when we have AI suggested news, what we want to give you, it's an interaction between you and the AI in Ansafy. It's not an interaction between me and what you are doing all on the internet. So we don't track you, we don't set cookies. We can't avoid that in that moment. We have a technical idea, but at that moment it's legal for the other companies to do so. There is no law saying you may not track. So Apple, I'm very happy that it exists. And then the other side, Google. It's a big position. But Google wants to keep the power and the control. Now they are paying a lot of $1 million to newspaper companies to get some of their news too. And of course, then they level up the Google News on a better level than they have it today. But it is of the cost of the data privacy. And when I look around to the other platforms, you have a lot of scrapers, you have a lot of RSS readers like Flipboard, Flipsport, Feedly. You have newspaper kiosk who wants to sell newspaper one and one. But this complete idea behind that you can choose the languages, not only one, you can do which one you want. That one we offer at that moment, of course, that's the limitation. And which countries you want the news from, and which sources. And in the true personalized news, we develop an algorithm, an AI, which allows you to also put in your keywords, your interest, subjects of interest. And of all that, this is the AI is mixing an amazing true personalized feed. And I want to show the world it doesn't need to track people. You need to keep their trust. If they don't trust the news, what happens? Because you need a good information. If you don't trust anymore the platforms or the newspapers, then you're wide open for fake news and conspiracy theories. These 2 points are each part of the same story. So no, at that moment, what we can see, other apps do parts of what we are doing, but no one does the same that we aiming to.
Okay, so we have learned a lot about the efforts being made to provide real information. So how can we, as a general population, contribute to this grand project? and make our civilization prosper in a more relevant way.
I tried to have the newspaper with me because I really want to support them and share also the income from Ansafy with the newspaper, support journalism. But as Google, it's the same for them. It's about power and control. Because you have to ask, what is a newspaper if you allow the readers to pick the news? You destroy the fact this is a newspaper. There someone is choosing the subjects and the sources for you. So here is how you can support Ansofy, is on two sides. The first one, of course, download us. Just now we are for free, and we always will have a free version of the app. But we put in a lot of money for the AI and for the fake, anti-fake news and so on. For that, we need to have a subscription. If you want to read these news, you need to make a subscription in the future. And the other support we can go out and tell organization, tell business, tell newspapers which don't have an app. Here is a very good app with data privacy. So, and completely on the law with copyright. We don't take any content from anyone. It's your content, it's your rights, we just a channel in this case. But use Ansofy as your app. This is a win-win position for you, because you have an app you can choose and use like that and test with the readers if they like it. The readers get the surplus, that they get more news and they can put the news together. And this is all the same thing both for newspaper and organization with an editor and a press apartment, or big companies, because there's a lot of people who are curious about following you and following other. And because we are setting the reader in the center, we give the reader the possibility to set push notifications, not the newspaper on you on the newspaper, or categories or organization. What do you want to follow? So this will be a much more direct contact to your readers, to your followers. And this is also unique. This business model is unique. So please, I welcome everyone. We have place for thousands of APIs. And we build the APIs for you, and you pay a license fee for our server costs and so on. So this is what we can offer. But for you readers listening there, try Ansofy. At that moment, it's a prototype. Don't forget it. It's a tiny prototype. At that moment, we just have a limited countries, limited language, limited sources, which means when Apple launched the first iPhone, 30% were finished, 70% in the pipelines. Think about that like Ansofy. There's a lot in the pipelines. Follow us, be our fan, because really the world needs Ansofy.
Yeah. Now, so far we've known Ansofy is currently in developing stage. Prototypes with further improvements are being made on it, and we are very fortunate to try out the beta version of Ansofy, and obviously it's free too.
Yeah.
I'm using it and trying to understand its value and significance in this age. I feel really good and safe when I'm not being shown ads or being tracked online. I can read the news articles from trusted information outlets, either it is related to science, technology, climate, sports, economy, politics, and so on. I'm happy with Ansofy's adless and user privacy focused feature. It's
Yeah.
really great to use that app?
We do our best, and when we put down the newspapers, the English talking newspapers, I try to go to media fact check site and try to put on mostly the newspapers which are very high in the facts and the least biased. But this will means it will come spring. I will write a line about every news source, so the transparency is being very good. Of course, we also from America have Fox News and Breitbart, because you need to see how they write, why they write that type, and how, if they have one name, an article, one name, you can search. In the prototype, we have a tiny search with 1 or 2 words. So try it, 1 word search. So you get up all the about that from all the newspaper in what we have just now. So make a try of that. And of course, if you make an account and log in, we have a read history. For your articles, you easily can find what you read before. But it's like, yeah. And what we need are daily readers. So this gives us good numbers if you go in each day and take 1 article or 2 or more. And for each article, you are directed to the newspaper. You are directly on the newspaper. We perhaps don't get every open article, but you can read yourself.
I sense that and hope that Ansafy will grow, improve, and become one of the most reliable and trusted digital platform, providing users an option to break the bubble of fake information and consume the real one. Theresa, being an entrepreneur and a well-experienced person, please do provide some suggestion to the entrepreneurs of new generation. What are those key aspects which are so essential for any startup to maintain the pace of growth and advancement?
Yeah. It's important who you are as a person. You need to have drive. Drive is perhaps the most talked word. But drive means you're waking in the morning, you want to work, you have an energy, you go out, you're positive, you do stuff like that. Yes. And not only to do things, you need to have the economics in the background. You can change the world to the better, but if you don't have an economic thinking, you fail. Most of the news apps you see around the world, which are not flying or not better, is they are failing in the economics. It's only when the investor sees that they get money back, they invest in you. If you don't do something for a very special group, for handicapped people or such, so it's pro bono. But normally, if you start a company, the purpose of a company is to make a win. So you need, from this very brief, when you get an idea, and you need to see, how can I get money with this idea? Otherwise, you may not be allowed to start a company. These are the laws. A company, company AB needs to go with win. So this is very important when you start. You need to be a doer to have it. And then the second most important thing is to have a good team. It's so hard. You can't start yourself, but you'll be faster and it's more easier if you have a good team, trusted friends. And often in that, which are the main subjects when you're looking for, you should have someone who can be a spider in the net and organize and have the overview. You need someone with the economic thinking. You need someone with the IT, of course. And you need someone with the sales. Very important. But you need also someone with the content. You can't put all what you say and think down and spread it on social media. And when you have a good idea, and when you have that, make campaigns. Test. Because when you don't understand your target group, when you don't understand where you can go up like that, you miss your chance. You know, Google is scanning all the world, each region, each as a quarterly, for apps for the highest potential. So if you get a good app and lands it, make a good test. Make a test gives you a lot of downloads in just a few days. Genuinely downloads, not bought downloads and clicks. And this will take Google's attention, and you can get a chance to pitch and to attempt on their own accelerator program. So we've done this, and we are happy to get a place. And as soon we have the scalable backend, so we will start also. And this is a little bit kind, we have data privacy. Hello, Google. We will see how this works, and we will not go down on our ambitions. But team, economic, have a good person on each of the important places. Be clear how you want to take in money, by your earning self, by your rich, by friends, by Google, by crowdfunding. Why not crowdfunding? For a good idea, you really get people. The world is closer together now, and digital. So try and don't give up. And if you think it takes 1 year, okay, say it takes 2-3 years. So as a project leader, I can say everything you plan about, you need 30% more time, 30% more money, 30% more space for unwanted, unaware challenges. But I wish you good luck, because I learned incredibly much, and I'm very happy with learning new stuff, new things. And this makes me that I'm looking forward, and I really don't want to change back to a normal job, a safe job. And of course, started so tough in the Corona time. But in my subject, we have luck, because the world needs news, and everything you do digital, you get a push up through Corona at that moment. And it will mean that we see an upspeeding of the technical revolution worldwide. Yes, and we will be much faster into the AI time. But you know, AI is fascinating, but don't forget, don't look at the AI. Look behind, look at the company standing behind the AI. What are their purpose? What are their bias? What are their? That is floating in the AI. They may seem fantastic, but you need to look behind and be careful and be aware of. Because I don't know, do you have time? Because I want to say something AI and society, and a little bit philosophical.
Oh, yes, sure, you can.
Yeah. Here, I was at Slush, the startup mess last year, and I heard a presentation from a Finnish media professor, and it's about AI and what do AI for our society. I mean, it could be very positive, but are there negative effects too? And his theory, his thesis was that AI perhaps were part of why we have so split societies today. We see this as in a very lot of countries. You have that in India, you have that in USA, you have that in Europe, in several countries. What happens is the question. So let me take an example, an easy example. Say I am interested in earthquakes because people are interested in earthquakes or nature catastrophes, volcanoes and tsunamis and all this stuff. So let's say earthquakes, which means that when I'm now reading on the web, I fasten for earthquakes reports and news of earthquakes. And the AI who is tracking me all the time and looking what does Theresa like, the AI sees that I read earthquake news very carefully and very long. And here you see, if you don't have an orderly business model, if you are relying on that you get your most income through brands, through advertisement, so you need to put the advertisement on places where I stay very long. And this is evolutionary in every people, in every human. We are reading, we like to hear good news, but we are reading them very fast. But the bad news, this is danger. Our evolutionary brain says danger, danger, danger. Look straight at that, look carefully, read it twice. And this is why the increase, the crazy thing is that you earn more money if you put in your advertisement, more advertisement in negative news, in news about criminality, migration problems, wildfires, nature catastrophe, accidents, big accidents. And this means, unfortunately, that the AI is more and more and more changing your perspective. So if I'm liking earthquakes, and they say, okay, we get most money from Theresa back if we put in our advertisement in earthquakes articles, and they say, oh, but there is not so many earthquakes in Sweden. In fact, we have perhaps one when the ground is lifting and we get a little crack. But no problem, we can take earthquakes news all over the world. So without I am be aware of that, the AI is putting in more earthquake news around the world because I read that and they get more money back for the ads. Which means my mind, after a time, I get, oh, in the increasing time of 3 years, there's such a lot of earthquakes. The earth is quaking. All over the earth is, and I feel anxious and unstable and insecure, and can I trust in Sweden? Is there an earthquake? No, where? And I make push notifications on the earthquake, you know. I get them every day because earth is bubbling. Done this through all the ages, but now I am aware. And this makes me, I feel bad. I can't sleep. If I am a very weak mind, so I get hot. Now you can replace the word earthquake with immigrations, gang criminality, You can replace it with everything, which means that after a while you are feeling, I'm not living any longer in a secure country. That this country have no control at all. This country is at the edge of the doomsday. And then when you get at that, this can be used by populist leaders. We see this in Hungary, we see this in Poland, in the USA, and in many, many other countries. So the professor said AI is good to give us the information we want, but it's not the best if we want to have a stable society. So we need to think about AI and really use it as a good instrument and not only an instrument to increase our income. So this is what we are discussing a very lot when we are using AI. How can we do it in a good way, in an unbiased way? And this is why we won't rely on advertisement. We choose subscriptions. This is a much harder way because you have perhaps 1,000 people reading free for advertisement and don't care about their data privacy. And you have perhaps 10 people with a subscription. So I hope that people realize what is good for them. And yeah, because otherwise you get your news from the AI how you want. And when you ask me in my earthquake, should an AI ask me which kind of news do you like? I would never say earthquake, because that makes me feel bad. I would say I like news about technical stuff, nature. I like horses. I like to have philosophical questions, and I want to have news about that. But the AI is not asking me. This is why Ansofy makes the revolution. Our AI will ask you, do you like that? I see you read that subject. We have more newspaper about that subject from other countries. Burst your filter bubble. Read more. Take more opinions. The AI is talking to you and say, oh, I see you like this journalist. Do you want, this journalist have written this too. Do you want to read more about that? So it is a cooperation between the AI and the reader. Each one creates their own feeds in a good way. And this is revolution. I think every news app after Ansafy should have a tight look at us, how we do it. Otherwise, they are only a scraper. But we are news broker, and this is the difference. Oh, sorry, this is my passion. That is what I'm doing daily.
Yeah. So you've talked a lot of things, and thank you, Theresa, for giving us so much valuable suggestions to the new generation entrepreneurs. And you've talked about the AI, the importance of AI, and it all depends on how we perceive it. Either it's in a negative way or in a positive way. So it depends upon us how we perceive about it. So in a nutshell, or in a summary, we've talked about user privacy, online tracking, fake news, AI, and so on. There are lots of apps providing news on a single platform. But when we talk about Ansofy, as far as I know, it is an app available for both iOS and Android platforms, where the users are given exactly what they are looking for the real news and information, without being tracked and without their data being sold to other third parties.
Yes.
This is not an advertisement. This is what I have observed and experienced by using Ansofy. Hats off to the team of Ansofy AB.
Thank you, Pujan.
Yeah, I know there are many milestones to complete, and there are many more miles to go, but
Yeah.
I hope for the best. Now, I will come to the quote by Albert Einstein: information is not knowledge. So, by referring to Sadhguru or Jaggi Basudev, information is just an accumulation of what we have gathered from our senses, our sense organs. Real knowledge comes within us when all this information is filtered, analyzed, and absorbed in our real life. When the anger, hatred, lust, discrimination, bias, all are kept aside, clarity comes within us. That's where true knowledge resides. So we have an infinite cosmos to explore, but we are stuck in this man-made illusion and bubble of fake information. Let's decide ourselves. Make the relevant decision, make the relevant choice, grab the right platform, and proceed to explore the infinity. Teresa, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your great ideas and vision among us. And thanks again for everything that you have done and been doing for this world, for the mankind. Thanks to all the team members for their support. Thank you everyone for joining this event. Namaste. So, are there
Namaste.
any things that you would like to share, Teresa, at final?
I'm very happy to meet you and your team.
Thank you.
And this is, I was in a speed networking with all over the world. So I met one of your guys, Sudhir Puri, and this is how this contact started. And I can only say, go out, widen your frontier, talk to different people, talk through the continents, and humanity in our deepest end. We are the same because we care about our family. We want to have the better world for our children. We these these things really are the same, and I'm very happy. You see the fear from fake news and for conspiracy theories and how do we use the AI? It's all the same. It's the same questioning in Sweden as in Nepal, as in US. And I have really a great belief in the young generation. We, the old generation, we failed. We destroyed the planet. So it's now up to you, the young. And this is why I put all my money in this project, because I want to leave something after me I can really use, and perhaps like compensation for all the wrong decisions my generation made and still make. So I hope the real information, the good information, goes wider and helps also to understand how we can change our lifestyle, change our in the age of also climate change. So thank you once again, Pujan. It was a great
Thank you.
pleasure to meet you and your team. And everyone who wants can connect me on LinkedIn or have a discussion with me or follow us by www.ansafy.com or on Facebook, of course. And we will be more present in the social media in the future. We are just a tiny team, so we can't do everything at the moment. And if you want to be within the team, if you're a bright talent, if you are a star in sales, in content, in social media, let here. The Ansofy is open for everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, we are going to end our session for today. Thank you everyone for listening to this talk series, and I hope we'll be covering much more other aspects, important aspects from other important guests too. Thank you once again, Teresa, for joining us.
Thank you.
So, namaste, goodbye,
Namaste.